G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, let's get right into it. Posted by user Retro Stripes Girl, titled, Am I the asshole for expecting equal treatment for my kids? My mother-in-law lives less than 10 minutes down the road from me. At first I was so happy. She and my eldest son had a great bond. She would have him over to spend the night once every few months. I had twin newborns at home. Once they got older, she would take them one kid at a time to do activities about once a month or so. I thought she was doing what she could to help me. I was grateful. Then my sister-in-law had a baby. My kids only exist on holidays now. All of a sudden, my mother-in-law is over at my sister-in-law's house, cleaning, gardening, and babysitting if her daughter wants to do literally anything. She's cooking for them, bringing them treats, and inviting them over to have pizza and movie nights. My sister-in-law works, I'm a stay-at-home homeschooling mum, and I run a small business. I watched my nephew and then niece, once she was born, from said sister-in-law during the shift overlap of my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, until I asked to get paid, and then I was fired. My mother-in-law started to get Thursdays off at her work, so she invited my sister-in-law over from the moment she wakes up to spend the whole day over there as free babysitting. She gets to nap, and she gets to eat lunch and dinner there, and gets a lunch packed for her night shift job. They call it Grandma Day. After 4 years, my now 4 kids are wondering why only their cousins get Grandma Day. My husband and I talked. It really bothers him that his mother treats his sister like a princess, but treats him like he only exists if he can do something for her. We agreed to give her one last chance and to spread it all out for her to see our side. We've tried before, but she always changes the conversation. We tell her about the kids asking about having a Grandma Day. She looks aghast, says she has no more time to give. I said I'm not asking for an additional day, but that my kids love her and we could go every other week and take turns. She shuts me down right away, says she's probably not going to do Grandma Day anyway as she's getting too busy. This was Easter, not one Grandma Day has been missed except for vacation, which she went with them on to babysit. She was disgusted that I asked, but I don't think it's fair to my kids. I'm not asking even half of what she's freely offering to my sister-in-law. I feel like she's punishing me and my kids for being a stay-at-home mum. My choice, my consequence. But my sister-in-law works. Shouldn't that be her choice, her consequence? Now they, my mother-in-law, her 2 daughters, and my brother-in-law are all treating us like we were being the assholes for asking. Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from with this one, OP. And you know what? You're completely right. She very obviously has a golden child. She continues to die on that hill. I more than understand why you want things to change and why it would be fair that way, but she doesn't view you guys like she does this family. A lot of people are just like that, and it's up to you how you proceed going forward with this woman. In my unprofessional opinion, I'd think just very low contact is the way to go, and just keep them out of sight, out of mind. Move on with your own life with your family. That seems to be much more important. Though that's not a good solution for the kids. You kind of screwed either way. Not the asshole. In the comments, LB1076 says, Not the asshole for asking, and now you have your answer. As a grandchild who was thrown away when the daughter's kids came back, please do your kids a favor and start pulling them away. Seeing your cousins get all sorts of attention while you sit wondering why is a sad way to spend your childhood. Find an adopt-a-grandparent program locally and sign up. My best memories were made with older people who were grandparents by choice. I like the idea of adopting a grandparent. Win-win. There will, of course, be some BS from your mother-in-law, but why are you meeting with strangers? Your children already have a grandma. Well, they do? Where is she? This lovely old doll wants to give us 3 Grandma Days with an option for more. You refuse to even give them one, so we sought grannies elsewhere. You're just not up to our expectations, so I'm afraid you're fired. You're fired. Obama, you're fired. Bah frickin' bye, you wretched old fool. Okay, maybe not that mean. I'm a little riled up at the thought of someone playing favorites with children. Not the asshole. I would go no contact with grandma and try and move far, far away. It's going to cause lifelong issues for your kids, wondering why grandma doesn't love them. Always protect your kids at all costs. Clearly your sister-in-law is the golden child and your husband is not. So, by extension, sister-in-law's children are the golden grandchildren. Talk to your kids about the hazards of one-sided relationships as their age permits and distance yourself. She's not going to change, and it sounds like you and your husband tried, so don't let her hurt your kids. P.S. Your husband needs to be busy when she wants favors. Update. Wow, it's been a while, and so much has happened. I'll try to give it a quick breakdown. 1. I stopped posting hardly anything on social media because my sister-in-laws would text or call my husband within a day of my posting, reading into things, saying I was trashing his mother or them. I wasn't. I couldn't even post about what we did as a family on the weekends. They knew my husband doesn't have social media, and it felt like they were trying to turn him against me. Sorry guys, didn't work. 2. I was so stressed out, my doctor believes it caused me to have a small stroke last year when their lives were at a peak. I'm okay now, but it was scary at the time. 3. Even though we knew that it would be hard, when my husband's sister flew in from out of state, we spent a significant amount of time with his family so the kids could see their aunt. My therapist gave me several coping mechanisms to deal with them, mainly grey rocking, which helped a lot. I was treated fairly nice by mother-in-law starting a few days before my sister-in-law flew in. She was on her best behavior. I'm guessing so that I would keep my mouth shut during her visit. My children had only seen her at most 3 times since the Easter conversation. No apology, no attempt to share Grandma Day with my children. 4. The visit was awful. My local sister-in-law was so completely rude and unkind. The last day when I got home, I got the kids doing something and I made it to the room and I broke down and cried. My husband, who had to work 3rd shift this whole time, woke up and comforted me. He didn't want to even go and say his goodbyes to his sister-in-law that night because of their collective behavior. But I told him that it was just one more piece of ammunition they would use against us, so we went. 5. About a month later, I wrote an unrelated caption on a picture about how healing hurts. Nothing personal, just how when you grow, you see things a bit clearer and how it can hurt, but that it's worth it in the end. My husband's sister, who lives far away, started texting him and I the next day about how that's a slam to their mother. I had never once said anything bad about my mother-in-law to anyone. The most I ever did was post anonymously here on Reddit or talk to my husband, so guilty consciences read into it. My husband brought up how he agreed with my post and that he felt the same way. She went nuclear. That conversation ended their relationship. In this time, they saw my Reddit page because I wasn't hiding anything and wanted her to know our side, seeing as she had only heard one side. She took my mother-in-law and sister-in-law's side. Baffling, I know. 6. Thanksgiving is cancelled, lol. My husband gets a text from his mum that she was cancelling Thanksgiving. He called her bluff and said she didn't have to cancel, just to hide the fact that she would still have her golden child and her family over. We just wouldn't come. We had a small family Thanksgiving, and our 14-year-old said that it was his favorite Thanksgiving ever. We didn't attend Christmas either. 7. The smoke settles. Unbeknownst to me, my husband had gotten an opportunity to apply to a new job within the same company that he works for. He had gotten several before, but he says this one just felt different. He comes home and rocks my world. This job comes with moving several states away. Never once did I ever see him moving out of state, ever. This is the man that bought a plow truck just so he could plow his mum and sister's driveways. This is the man who would let his brother-in-law work on his sister's truck in his garage and park outside for up to a week, all because they never ordered the part they knew they needed before they started taking it apart. This is the man who chopped wood every single year for them, but we never had a wood-burning stove. 8. He applied and got a great offer. We decided that we needed to visit the area before we made the decision. On our way out there, his sister called, screaming and yelling at him about moving. She's a bit more controlling if you haven't picked that up by now. and she saw him slipping through her fingers. The kids were in the vehicle with us and could hear everything, even though it wasn't on speakerphone and we were driving a loud diesel. My husband ended the call. 9. We loved the area. The kids said they didn't even want to go back home. My husband and I talked extensively about the pros and cons. Never once did my in-laws enter the equation. In the end, I told him that it was his decision and that I would make it work no matter what he felt was right. He accepted and we went home. 10. My husband told his mother the day after we got home. She already knew from sister-in-law, but he had to officially tell her himself. Told her that we had several months to get our house ready to sell and that he would like for her to visit us out there. She said okay. Over the next few months, she stopped over like 3 times for a few minutes at a time because she was driving by and saw us out there. She dropped off our Christmas presents so that we could take them with us, proving to my husband that she has never had any intention on ever coming to see and support him. 11. I am banned from sister-in-law's house because this is all my fault. She then invited my whole household to my niece's birthday party except for me. This is the niece and nephew that I used to watch for free for 3 years until I asked to be paid and then was fired. My husband put the invitation on the fridge so that our kids could see how petty their aunt was being. She had the audacity to text him for an RSVP, and he told her that if I wasn't invited, then none of us were invited. 12. We list our house. Sister-in-law is pissed at the price, as my husband informs me, thinking it's way too high. We sell it for even more, lol. 13. We have a going-away party. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law show up just to save face. It was so comical seeing them try to pretend they don't know anything about what we've been doing or what our plans are. People noticed and commented. The kids gave them quick hugs when they left. No tears were shed. My mother-in-law had the audacity to hug my husband and say, "You know I don't play favorites," as her goodbye. 14. We move several states away and are so happy. In the comments, Winterworld561 says, "Glad things are working out for you. Why did you even have any of them on social media? Why didn't you just block them so they couldn't see your posts? Simple fix right there. I wish you a very happy, stress-free life with your lovely family." OP replies, "Simply put, I didn't have anything to hide. I wasn't in the wrong. Then when they unfriended me, they still had their spies reporting back. Once that was thrown in my face, I did a purge." Well then, that's fair enough. It sounds like they would just jump on anything you said and completely turned it into something else. Kind of unrelated to the main story, but there are a few things that I hate more than vague booking, or whatever they call it now that people aren't using Facebook as much. Especially when afterwards they deny everything and suggest that it was nothing personal instead of the shot at someone that it clearly is. You're so vain, you probably think this song is about you. Personally, I've seen both sides of the situation regarding people like this, posting motivational quotes on social media, and the track record makes me default that they are an unreliable narrator. My experience is that they're always the victim, and they change a lot of the narrative. The only thing I can believe in this post is that both sides wanted and needed to separate, but neither wanted to do it because family. Another sign is when she said they yelled at her, were horrible to her, but without saying what was said and done. Our next post is by a throwaway account titled, "Am I the asshole for keeping my wife on a short leash after she cheated on me? My 30 male, wife, 31 female, of 5 years, cheated on me last year with her friend when she was out with her friend group. She used to do this often, but always came back at around 12 a.m. But this time, she came home very late, at around 5 a.m., and drunk, and I didn't push the issue that night. She was distant and didn't talk much to me afterwards the next few days. I only found out a couple of days later when she confessed to cheating after I kept asking her why she was so cold to me. I was shocked. I never liked the fact that she went out to bars and clubs, but she never gave me a reason to distrust her until that night. I immediately grabbed a bag, packed some stuff, and left. She was begging me to talk about it, but I wasn't in the mood for it. I was angry, upset, sad. I know that I wasn't in the right headspace for this kind of talk, so I stayed with a friend. Fast forward a few days later, and I agreed to talk to her. She said she was so sorry and it would never happen again, and that she would do anything to make me stay. I spent the time that I was away thinking of staying or leaving, and I hate the fact that I still love her. We don't have kids together, but part of me still wanted to stay. I gave her conditions if she wanted me to stay. The first one is to never see the man she cheated on me with ever again. The second was that I could see her phone or computer anytime that I wanted without having to ask. The last one was that she could no longer go out to bars or clubs without me. She agreed to all of this. Over the last year, she's been estranged from her friend group because she can't go out with them without seeing the man she cheated on me with, and she hasn't really made any new friends. I haven't checked her phone or computer either. I know she likes going out, so I try my best to go with her when I have time. The bar and club scene was never my thing, but I try to enjoy it with her. Things just haven't been the same as before, and I've thought about loosening the she can't go out without me rule, but I keep thinking of what she did. I've explained this to my friend, and she said that I should just divorce her if I can't trust her anymore. I've thought about it. I wasn't as happy as I used to be. She says she's happy with me around, but she isn't as energetic as she used to be. So, am I the asshole? OP, I don't know if you should be asking if you're the asshole here. I think the question should be, should I just break up with her? Which, yes. And if you don't break up with her, you're just being an asshole to yourself because it's very obvious that you two are no longer compatible and you two are no longer happy to be with each other anymore. The best time to divorce was when she cheated. The second best time is right now. If it's not going to improve, why continue? Not the asshole. In the comments, Electronic Fox says, "Sorry, but your friend is right. Sounds like all trust is gone and you're just diminishing each other now. Let her go. Not the asshole." This, straight up, this is a simple problem with a simple solution. Roll out while you're still young. Last thing you want to do is have a kid with someone you obviously resent and don't love anymore. The only thing that's difficult with these situations is accepting the simple solution. Y'all need to divorce. You both are on different pages for where you are in life. No point trying to dictate what to do any further. That was my thought too. Cheating is awful, but the real relationship killer here is that they want different lifestyles. I'm pretty sure the real killer was the cheating, but the lifestyle differences don't help. Trust is everything in a marriage. When it's gone, it's gone. This is not the exception, this is the rule. It's been a year. Are you or her any happier than before? Do you feel like you have to look over her shoulder? If so, then it's more detrimental to your mental health than a divorce ever would be. At least with a divorce, you have a direction and boundaries. Now you're having to enforce the boundaries. Not the asshole. Your friend is right though. No kids, the relationship has changed, and she's 30 and still clubbing? Personally, I'm way the F out. You're fired. Update. Thank you all for responding. It was a little overwhelming how much attention this post got. To clarify some things that were asked, our relationship before seemed pretty good. I was never the club and bar kind of person, but my wife and I enjoyed going out to different places. We were both very outdoorsy. We were often camping, climbing, hiking, among a lot of other things. We also liked taking trips around the country and sometimes abroad. We also had date nights once or twice a week. We both work from home, so we often had a good amount of free time. We aren't rich or anything, but we do fine. Also, to clarify something, we don't have kids and we don't want kids. When it came to our sex life, I think it was decent. We had sex 3 to 4 times a week and often tried new things. Never with another person though. The only thing we didn't share was her habit of going out to bars and clubs. And now to her friends. Some of you were under the impression that I told her to see none of her friends. I only told her to stop seeing the man that she cheated with. At first, I didn't know exactly why she became estranged with the whole group. They were all a part of the one friend group. I met all of her friends, including the man in question, and from what I know about him, he was a man whore. Nothing happened between him and my wife before, but I never liked the fact that she went out so often with this guy, even if it was in a group setting, especially with alcohol involved. I did bring this up to her, and she told me there was nothing to worry about and that this was just insecurity talking. Our relationship now. We've gone out hiking a few times and gone out together on dates, but not nearly as often anymore. I just haven't felt the desire to. Our sex life is pretty barren as well. She's tried to initiate plenty of times, but I rarely want to. Update. I've talked to my wife, and we both reflected on our relationship. She still claims that she wants to stay with me and would respect my conditions no matter what. I asked her what she would do if I let go of the conditions. She told me she's truly ashamed of what happened, and she said she probably wouldn't go to the club or bar alone anymore. I asked her about her old friends, and she told me that she doesn't want to be their friend anymore. She told me that they thought that she was being unreasonable for not wanting to see the guy anymore, and that's just how he is. Basically, they refused to cut the guy off, and they didn't like that my wife had a problem with him. I never asked her about this before because I didn't care about how my condition was met. All that I cared was that it was met. I've opened up a bit more, and how our life is now pretty dull. She said she's aware that our relationship isn't the way that it was before. I asked her if she wants things to change, but she said she doesn't feel that she has the right to ask me for anything. She said she's aware that it's her fault that our relationship is like this. I mentioned couples therapy, and she immediately said that it was a good idea. I still resent her, but from what I can tell, she does want to make this work. I can't fully trust her yet. I still remember when she first said that there was nothing to worry about. We decided to start couples therapy. I'll be honest though, the only reason I'm willing to do this is because she has followed my conditions for a year, but I don't think this is going to help me trust her ever again. If therapy doesn't work, then I'll leave. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. It's not the best note, but I trust OP on this one. Anyway, I hope you have a good day, night's sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.